Oh, this is crazy. This boy got a whole Lakers cap on. This
Hey,
is
man, you already know
insane.
what today is, man. Today is a holiday. Russell Westbrook is a damn Laker. What a world we're in, man. Why are you hating, bro? I can't wear a Lakers hat.
You act like you know how I feel about Russell Westbrook. So don't even go there. It's just the celebration in August.
Oh,
Let's
man.
relax. Calm down now.
Oh, man, bro. Don't ruin it.
You can be happy. You can
Don't ruin
celebrate.
it.
No, I'm not gonna ruin it.
Don't ruin it. Let us rejoice.
Go ahead, celebrate.
It's been, I know, the Lakers just won the chip recently, but still, it still feels good. Because you know what? Because this means Russ's chance of getting a ring increases significantly.
Carmelo.
Oh, right. Oh, trust. Oh, they did a lot of stuff today. So it's a long list. This past couple of days was crazy. But I want to start off with Russ. But yeah, trust. Carmelo, he's on the way on this episode.
Talk about it because we talked about it a little bit on the last podcast about people before he even got signed. So go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, man, I'm happy because this means he's in a winning situation and he has a legitimate chance to win a chip. There's going to be a lot less pressure on him specifically. Obviously, when you're playing with LeBron and AD and Melo and all the rest of the guys on that team. But to start off, man, before we even get into the actual analysis and early season predictions of all that, I'll ask you straight up. If Russ does go out and win a chip this year, what does that do for his legacy?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because look, the reason why I'm asking that question this early is because we got a lot to talk about. It ain't just I'm wearing the hat, but trust, we got a lot of teams to cover. So I'm going to ask that early.
Yeah, we can get right into it. If Russell Westbrook wins a championship, to me, he's already a top 5 point guard in the history of the game, in my opinion. I think he's the most athletic point guard in the history of the NBA. We talk about all-around game, even though he doesn't shoot the ball like some of the other top point guards in the league. It was a time where Russell Westbrook and his mid-range game was pure, especially in OKC. Then the injury started to occur, and we know what happens, knee injury and stuff like not getting a lot of elevation on his jump shot like he used to in the past. So that had to kind of messed up his, his shooting ability. A lot of people don't talk about that. People just talk about Russ can't shoot, can't touch. Talk about what happened along that journey of him not being able to be a, consistent jump shooter. So if he wins a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers, he's a top 5. He's a top 5 point guard of all time. To me, top 5, top 6, top 7, whatever you in that range. But it can be an argument that he can be as close to top 3 if he wins a championship. As we talk about point guards, you got Magic, you got Stephen Curry, and then you got Isaiah Thomas, and then Russell Westbrook, Oscar Robertson, whoever you think, and Chris Paul, all in that group, all in that category as well. So it's just going to be it's going to be a toss-up because people are going to look at Russell Westbrook and his historic numbers of triple-doubles, doing something that wasn't done in years, and then kind of just outdoing himself year after year, Mr. Triple-Double. Then we talk about the greatest athletic point guard in history of the game, and then you add the MVP, gave us one of the greatest MVP seasons in the history of the NBA, top 5 MVP season of all time, in my opinion. And if he wins a ring, it's going to be people's like, oh, God, I don't know if I can put Isaiah Thomas over. I don't know if I can put Chris Paul over. I don't know if I can put Oscar Robertson over. It's going to be a lot of players that's going to be like, yo, I don't know. It's going to be a legit debate. Or for some people, like myself, it's going to be like, no, it's Russell Westbrook. So if it happens, but we don't crown champions in August, but the Lakers look damn good.
Facts. And let me play devil's advocate real quick. All right. So Russell Westbrook seems to sometimes be a ball dominant point guard, right? In terms of just, if you average triple doubles, it's tough to do that if you're playing off ball, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, anyone that plays with LeBron James, naturally you might have the ball in your hands less. So how do you think Russ is going to fit in with LeBron and AD?
Yeah, I think Russ is going to do well with LeBron and AD, and we kind of talked about it on the past podcast, and basically we're saying kind of like people are going to talk about the lack of spacing between him and LeBron James, but they just added shooters, so it's just kind of like they just added shooters, so it's just kind of like we don't really have to worry about that. And also, like I said, they're going to stagger Russ's minutes where he's going to play a lot
Yeah.
in the second unit as well. So he's going to be the focal point on offense while playing against other opposing teams' second unit. So he's going to be dangerous like that as well. So that's going to be special. And then if you look at it, like LeBron James is going to be the point guard probably on this team, and then just let Russell Westbrook just score and go to work. I don't expect
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook to average a triple double next year. I expect
Okay.
Russell Westbrook just to really attack, put pressure on the defense, get into the paint, getting layups, getting dunks, also driving and kicking, similar to Giannis Antetokounmpo. To be honest, it's a smaller version. That's what Russell Westbrook is going to do. And it's crazy people talk about spacing, but we just saw Giannis win a championship, and the Milwaukee Bucks shot 31% in the finals. So it's just kind of like you can't worry about space. Spacing matters probably more so in the regular season, maybe. But like in the playoffs, when the game gets tight, your best player is going to show up. Talent always prevails. So that's how I look at it. But how do you
Yeah.
how do you feel the trio is going to work with Russ, AD, and LeBron?
I think it's going to be one of those situations where it's definitely going to take some time. Even being a Laker fan, I'm still going to be realistic. I think their adjustments will definitely have to be made in terms of just their overall game and playing style. But I also think though they will figure it out, right? Because the thing that people really don't talk about much when we talk about Russ and LeBron is their IQ, right? Like we get so caught up in their athleticism, what they can do physically, but they're still smart basketball players. So eventually, I think they will figure it out. But even on the front court side with AD, and they also added Dwight, getting Melo. I think overall, again, these are all veteran guys that have played in the league a good amount of time. Guys that know how to win basketball games, Hall of Famers, guys that
Yeah,
have made the All Star game, so on and so forth. And I think they're all at the point of their career where it's like, yo, egos,
don't
because none
matter.
of them right now, none of them have anything to prove, right? Like maybe if you want to make the case, okay, Russ, if you getting a chip, but he's stamped in terms of his overall career and legacy. But
Yeah,
none of them, I feel, are in a position where like, yo, all right, I want my 30. All right, I'm trying to get 10
facts.
assists. I think they all should be locked in and focused and on getting the chip. That's why I'm excited as hell for Russ and Melo to get chips. But that was Russ. So let's talk to me about Melo finally being able to team up in the league, in the NBA, with his man's Bron.
So long. I mean, we've heard the rumors for years, and just to see it to come to fruition is a very special feeling, especially if you're diehard hoop fans and diehard kind of like, these are guys that we grew up watching, celebrating Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, the boot crew, whatever you want to call them. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be special watching these two play on the same team together, even though they're older, but their game, especially LeBron. LeBron is still, we saw when LeBron's healthy, you know what he's about. Top two player in the league, arguably the best player in the world. Depending if you want Kevin Durant, doesn't matter. Whoever you pick, we always had that conversation. So it's just kind of like that's to see LeBron still be at such a high level. Then you got Carmelo Anthony that can come off the bench and get you 14, 15 points in the span of 8 minutes if he needs to. It's just kind of like this Lakers team is much better. This is what I was talking about. The Lakers needed guys that can put the ball in the basket and where LeBron James did not have to be their best shot creator. Now they got Carmelo Anthony, one of the greatest isolation scorers in the history of the game, and also a guy that's going to get open 3-point shots with LeBron James and Russell Westbrook running the offense and running the fast break transition. An underrated signing that a lot of people are not talking about is Malik Monk, who is still super young, super gifted, 23 years old, talented, super uber athletic, can create his shot. Then they got a backup point guard in Kendrick Nunn, another guy that can put the ball on the floor, playmaking ability, also can shoot the ball as well. And then they re-up Dot. So it's just like Horton. It's just like so they
Yeah.
they they got win now players in Russell Westbrook. And then they got Dwight Howard as well and Carmelo Anthony. And then they kind of secured their future because they're probably gonna in 3 years Dot is still gonna be around. And then Kendrick Nunn signed a 2-year deal. Monk is probably gonna re-up with them. So you have a future as well. So the Rob Pelinka is playing chess right now. A lot of GMs are playing playing checkers. Rob Pelinka is on his Godfather right now. Like he's making boss moves. Like he's special, and we got to give him his flowers as well because there was a lot of people that was talking about Magic Johnson. What happened with Rob and Magic Johnson? That situation. Kobe Bryant was the only one was just like Rob's the guy. He said that before all the criticisms and all this stuff that they were talking about in the media and stuff about Rob. Rob is the guy. He's the dude.
Yeah. And 2 more names too, Trevor Ariza and Wayne Ellington. And then again, in terms of just overall
So I'm
being veterans
saying.
in the league, who again I don't think you have to worry about egos and things like that. They've been around for a good little while now, and I think they'll understand what it's like to play at a high level and to really compete for a championship. And you mentioned too the idea of like real hoopers should be excited about this. It's not just about being a Laker fan, but
Yeah.
if you grew up watching basketball, you know what it's like to see LeBron and Melo, yes, play on different teams, but to now see them as actual teammates again in the league, not like in the Olympics or anything like that, but in the league. I think that's just gonna be real special off the court too. You know what I mean? Like I just think the overall culture of the game is definitely going to be different.
Now
Go ahead,
we
you
we
about to say
talk.
something?
Yeah, now we talked about not crowning champions in the summer in the off season in free agency. But I want to ask you this: like you asked me about Russell Westbrook, what does a ring do for Carmelo Anthony's legacy? Because we had a conversation in several podcasts ago, and I was kind of like, I don't know if it does so much because Carmelo is already such a. If you love the game of basketball, really know the game of basketball, you know how he's a top 10 offensive player of all time already. So it's just kind of like, but what does a ring do for his legacy?
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned top 10 offensive player of all time. I mean, there's probably not more than like a handful of guys I feel that can score at all levels like Carmelo. Like you can talk about, the three, the midi, free throw, the post, all that.
Yeah,
Very few. Like that list is not long at all. You
maybe
said,
top 3 of all time.
yeah, I was gonna say you said, and I know you said 10 offensive,
Yeah,
but when you talking
yeah,
about just like
yeah.
every single level of the basketball, that list,
Multi talented. It's crazy.
exactly. That
People,
list, come on
that's
now.
that's a conversation for a different day.
Right,
Go
right,
on,
right,
go
right,
ahead.
right, right. But yeah, I mean, he definitely jumps though. I mean, I know he won't get the ring in his prime. And I know, naturally people are gonna say, he played with LeBron and AD, but he's one of those guys where it's like because he had so many great prime years, I think if he gets that ring, even if it is, with a team like this, it's okay. It still counts as a legitimate ring.
Yeah, rings are rings.
Right, yeah, especially at this point in your career. But yeah, he definitely jumps up on that list. Again, it's so tough to say without. I think one day we're gonna have to literally like sit down and do it like top 50 or whatever. Like you say yours, I say mine, and just really dive in. But I think him winning a ring definitely puts him in a slightly different tier. I won't go, say top 10, but
No.
he'll be pushed up a little bit. Because I'm definitely rooting for him, man. I promise you, because it definitely sucks to have guys finish their career with no rings at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, if you don't get 4 or 5, not everybody can be, Brown, Kobe, and Jordan, but just get one. Just get one. That's why it hurt to see Chris Paul get so close.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's another guy who just got a crazy contract.
Some guys and it's crazy. We can talk about. We can look at Chris Paul, who had an opportunity to go to the Lakers. To be honest, if you want to talk about it, but some guys, chose the money over maybe a championship.
Well, you mean like recently? I thought
Yeah,
you
I'm talking
meant
about
back
now.
in
I'm
the
talking about
throwback days.
we talking about now.
Yeah.
We talking about what's going on
Yeah.
right now. Like the Phoenix Suns are going to be good next year, and they're going to have a chance next year, especially with the Lakers, especially with the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets kind of being hurt and stuff like that. So they should be a top 2, top 3 seed. So they're gonna have a chance, a shot. But it's just kind of like, certain players, you're just like, I can't really feel bad for anymore. Especially if you had an opportunity, or if you could have put yourself in a better situation, and you choose not to be in a better situation. Like Bradley Beal. I can't feel bad. I'm a St. Louis native. So how I feel about Bradley Beal, how I feel about Jason Tatum. But I can't feel bad for Bradley Beal when it's November and December and he's dropping 50 points, 55 points, and they losing. Look, I can't feel, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna be one of those people that's gonna talk about anymore with certain guys about like, like we can talk about the team situation, but it's just like at some point it's just like you're choosing that situation. It can't always be about the team situation or how bad the team situation is. Sometimes it's like that is the case when we talk about that constantly. But sometimes it's guys that are really you're choosing to stay in that situation. If Dame doesn't get traded for the Portland Trailblazers, doesn't want out, Dame, you're choosing to stay in that situation. You're 31 years old. You're on the back end of your prime, going. Not saying his prime is over, but you know what I'm saying. So it's just kind of like you're choosing that situation. So it's like people aren't gonna always feel bad for these players, especially you can't always just say the team situation. It's just like, come on now. Sometimes it's these players and what they really value the most, and sometimes choosing that bag and stats
I was gonna
over
say,
rings is
hey
that's
man,
hey, it is what it is what it
hey,
is.
hey.
I can't fault them. I'll probably do the same.
I'm about to say, you throw that contract out there, you start thinking,
Hey,
honestly, is an NBA ring even worth it?
it's
I
hey,
mean,
it is what it
hey.
is.
But I will say this though. I think one of the differences between Brad's situation and Chris's situation is that Chris was so close to
Yeah,
winning a ring. So that's why I was
yeah,
like, all
that's
right,
true.
if I'm that close, because then you start thinking like, all right, ain't no point in running if I'm able to win.
That's
Let's
true.
win here. If I'm building something and we're on the verge of we're being 2 wins away from the whole thing. All right,
Yeah,
I'm still gonna rock out with this team, right?
no, a
But
lot of
Brad's
circumstance,
situation,
a lot of
it's all about
circumstance.
circumstance. But Brad's situation, you look to your left, you look to your right. It's like, all right, hey now, what's going on? I ain't getting no younger.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but I think that plays a huge factor too, because then now we also have to reward guys for when they stay, even when they don't win a chip, right?
That's true.
Because
Yeah,
if we yell at guys for leaving and then they win a chip, and then we're, not saying you are, but then looking at them
yeah.
sideways when they stay and don't win a chip, it's like, well, damn, what is it that
I think
we
I think
really
it.
want?
Like I said, it depends on the team situation. Like people are gonna look at Brad's situation, looking at his team around him, and be like, okay, well, Brad, you ain't really supposed to be winning. So we understand
Facts.
we understand it. But at the same time, I can say like, yo, Brad, like get out of there. Like, what do like what are you staying for? So that's what I'm talking about with the Brad. Now, Dame situations, like Dame, you've had success. You've been on teams that are like you can win. It's just like you've came up short sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like
Mm,
your team has came
yeah.
up short sometimes, especially this past year. This because this how I felt this year. They could have been like the Phoenix Suns. So people don't want to talk about that. People want to talk about like free Dame and stuff like that. But this was the year for Dame to really make a run, and people can you know he may be, I don't know if Dame's a media darling, but he may be
That's more.
he,
All
he
right,
may
all
be
right.
he may be
Let's not throw that
close.
word out just
He
just
may
just
be
out there,
close,
bro.
but
Let's
it's
not throw that
still
word out there.
you get what I'm saying about like this could have been a year where like y'all lost to some backups to the Denver Nuggets. And you know what I'm saying? They would have beat them. They could have played the Suns, and that would have been a 6-7 game series. That could have been a toss up either way. Because, like I said, Dame's the best player out of those two teams, and CJ McCollum's a bucket. So it's just because they had Carmelo Anthony. That would have been like a really great matchup. And then
All
you
right,
get
but
to the
so with that take then, so who are we really looking at now? Is it the Trailblazers front office for not surrounding him with the talent, or is
I'm
it
talking
the
about
actual roster not getting it done?
I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about the roster didn't get it done this year in the
Okay.
playoffs. I'm talking about
All right.
this year. Like this year when because I'm looking at the circumstances.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be looking at this roster if the circumstances wasn't at play of what happened when the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the circumstances. Bron's hobbled, AD hurt, Kawhi goes
Kawhi,
down. It's just kind of like
Jamal.
Jamal's not playing with the Denver Nuggets. They had backups being starters and cook them boys.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's
why
rough.
Dame is that's why and let's talk about this. We talk about the biggest winner we right now in free agency is the Los Angeles Lakers. You can give me another one of your winners, and then we can talk about the losers. Because the Blazers are losers so far.
Damn.
This if I'm Dame, I'm sitting at home like damn, like I got to get the help out of here
Yeah.
after seeing all
Dame.
these moves
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, it's like you at the club one night with your peoples, and you looking to your left. Oh yeah, they doing their thing, and you looking to your right. They doing their thing. It's like, well, damn, is anybody gonna show
Yeah,
me some
like
love? Am I just chilling?
yeah.
Like,
So who we know the Lakers. Who else is a
all right,
big
bet,
winner
yeah. So
so far?
another team I would say, definitely, Chicago.
Mm.
One time for the one time. I wasn't
Windy
expecting it.
City.
One time for the one time. Lonzo, DeMar, and I know Laker fans going love this one, but even Alex Caruso. I mean, the DeMar signing to me came out of nowhere. I was definitely prepared for him to go, to the Lakers, even with Russ. I don't care. I wanted everybody. But, I mean, him going to Chicago, that's big time.
Big time.
You still got Zach. You still got Vucevic. You add Lonzo.
They got Kobe White probably coming off the bench.
Yeah.
6-man role.
I'm smelling playoffs. I'm smelling playoffs. I won't say what seed just yet. But I'm smelling, a definitely an 8 seed or within 1 through 8. I mean,
But
them making the playoffs.
we can DeMar is special. People forgot about it's crazy because we always talk about how the narrative always shifts and changes when it comes to certain players. DeMar went from a guy in Toronto, one of the most elite scorers in the game in the NBA, going to All-Star games, and people are saying, you know what? All he can do is score.
Mm.
So he gets traded to the Spurs. His game becomes more well-rounded. Takes a back seat for scoring, playing in that Spurs offense, which is the reason why the USA Olympic team has kind of been struggling as well. It's the reason why
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard wanted to get the hell up
Yeah.
out of San Antonio. If you watch that offense, what's going on in the USA? But he plays, he shows that, you know what, I can score, I can pass, I can assist, averaging 21, 5 and 5 for a couple years with the Spurs. And people are saying he doesn't deserve to be an all-star. He's not an all-star. He was an all-star in the East. What happened to DeMar Rose? This guy is one of the most lethal scorers the game has ever seen. And it's just kind of like, I'm happy for him to go back East, go back and play in the Eastern Conference because people have forgotten how great DeMar DeRozan is.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, that getting Lonzo Ball, it's just kind of like you get a real point guard that can run up and down the floor, that can also shoot the ball, that can, facilitate and get Zach LaVine easy buckets and also DeMar DeRozan easy buckets, pick and roll with Nikola. It's just kind of like that's going to be special. And I'm going to say this. I don't know how good the Chicago Bulls, they look good on paper. I don't know how good the Chicago Bulls are going to be. And this is going to kind of like segue into our next segment. But I feel like they can either be a eighth seed to a play-in seed, or they can be like the New York Knicks or the Phoenix Suns, a surprise team that can be a top seed in the East next year. It's gonna go
what? What number?
It's gonna
top.
top.
What's the highest? What's the highest? What's their ceiling?
The highest can be, if you look at the East, you got the Brooklyn Nets, you got the Milwaukee Bucks, and then you got the Miami Heat, Philadelphia Sixers. So I'm gonna say, who knows what's happening with those two teams, but like top 4 seed, that can be their ceiling. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta stop you. You gotta say Atlanta too. You have to.
I
know.
Hawks.
Yeah, I know on paper and stuff like that, and then people might say, everyone's healthy now, but hey, you don't have a choice now. They just made the Eastern Conference Finals. I gotta say it. Throw Atlanta.
But I'm just saying the Chicago Bulls can be a top 4 or top 5 seed next year. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because, first off, we also got to talk about the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat getting Kyle Lowry. Go ahead.
I was going to let you run though.
Talk about that. Talk about that acquisition.
Yeah, that's another team that won too. The acquisition of Kyle Lowry and being able to keep Jimmy to that contract. And I honestly, I do like the Duncan Robinson signing as well though. I know people are talking about the money, but I mean, one, shout out to him. I think it was the highest contract ever for an undrafted player. That is tough in itself. Right. Now, I'm not even just talking about fit right now.
Shout out to the undrafted D3 to $90 million. Salute that, bro. That's the grind.
That's a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
But the Kyle Lowry signing, I like that. Obviously, we know what he brings to the table. Him and Jimmy, I think, will fit and play well together. Both of them have NBA Finals experience, and I think Miami's going to come back hungry. I think they, obviously had a disappointing season after their NBA Finals appearance. But the addition of Kyle Lowry, having that veteran presence and leadership, I mean, I'm not going to put them ahead of Brooklyn or Milwaukee just yet. But
you're going to give somebody some problems.
Yeah, there you go. They definitely going to give teams some problems.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely give teams some problems. They definitely are.
Yeah,
but I like the sign, though. It sucks, though. It sucks to see him leave Toronto.
He's a legend.
But, it's time. It was just time. I like the fit.
I feel like with Kyle Lowry, I would have liked it more if DeMar was on his way with him for a reunion, and I would have liked it a lot more. But they formed a big three. I'm not gonna say they're a super team or whatever, but it's basically what the Brooklyn Nets did. We went 2 years for having great duos, LeBron and AD, Kawhi and Paul George, and then you had Kevin Durant and Kyrie early on the season. Then when James Harden came, the league just last year with the trade, everybody's like, okay, well, we're not going to do kind of what happened with the Golden State Warriors when Kevin Durant signed. it was only one team that had a legit shot at beating the Golden State Warriors. That was the Houston Rockets that actually went out and made moves. And was like, yo, we're gonna try to compete against these guys and knock these
Now,
guys out. You know what I'm saying? But now with the Kevin Durant signing and James Harden being traded, teams like, you know, we gonna form big threes. We gonna form big threes and super teams, depending on, like, I don't know if you consider Lakers a super team or not, but they have a big three. You know, Chicago Bulls, they have a big three. The Milwaukee Bucks, they have a big three. The Philadelphia Sixers, they have a big three. So when I say big three, these are you where you got at least two guys that are all-star players or top 10 players or whatever you want to say. It's just kind of like you got another guy that's top 15, top 20 in the league or top 25 in the league. That's a big three. So that's how I look at that with this situation. With the Miami Heat, I was hoping DeMar was gonna come with Kyle Lowry, but I guess they feel like the key is Tyler Hero. Is Tyler Hero going to take that step? He had a sophomore slump. Is he going to take that step and showcase his ability, what he did in the bubble? Can he do that in his third year and take that step and really say, yo, I can be a starting shooting guard in this league someday? Or I'm just going to be a guy that's going to probably be a sixth man for my career. He has to take that step. So
yeah, but I mean that would have been a lot of money though. Going back to the DeMar one.
yeah, but look, I
Kyle,
didn't. But look, but
DeMar,
they
Jimmy
signed
Bam.
they signed Kyle Lowry for Kyle Lowry, 35 years old. And that's another thing I don't understand about the Pat Riley situation, because he let Dwayne Wade walk to go to Chicago over a couple millions of dollars because he was 35 years old. And now you re-up, you sign and trade Kyle Lowry, who's 35 past his prime. And then even Jimmy Butler is just kind of like, that contract in a few years with Jimmy Butler's not going to look very great as well, especially when you look at, like, and Jimmy Butler's still a great player, but like coming off that playoff series against the Milwaukee Bucks, it's just kind of like, with the injuries that Jimmy Butler's had, 2 years probably left in his prime. Hopefully longer he can extend it, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. You know, it's just like, I really don't know. So it's gonna be iffy.
It's probably a contract rewarded, still based off that NBA Finals run.
Yeah, of course.
And
You had to
honestly,
re-up him.
Yeah, but I say honestly, who knows? And they may even make an NBA Finals run this year. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not picking them to, but I mean, you know, they have pieces, and I think it's the way they play too. It's a fearless type of team that's led by a guy like Jimmy Butler. I mean, who knows? But another Eastern Conference team too. I think you mentioned was Philly. Them adding Drummond. How you feel about that move though? Because it was kind of in a way like a trade.
Yeah,
like
it's just kind of
and Dwight.
it just showed you how far Andre Drummond has fallen, in my opinion, when it comes to like his position around the league. Like, he was, seen as this big acquisition for the Los Angeles Lakers, supposed to help the Los Angeles Lakers be this, traditional big man. It kind of worked, it kind of didn't work, but he signs a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Sixers. It's kind of like he was talking about like he wanted a bag and he expects a bag, and then it's like, basically, like you said, he did a swap. The Lakers got Dwight back, and then the Sixers got Andre Drummond to back up Joel Embiid, who has injury history. So it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, it's just like, I guess Andre Drummond views himself as a backup. I didn't view Andre Drummond as a backup. I still think Andre Drummond is a good starter. So it's just kind of, that's a weird situation. But if it only took a 1-year deal to get him, why teams that need a big man then sign him, like the Boston Celtics? You know what I'm saying? Or like, even like, probably the Charlotte Hornets could have probably signed him. It's some teams out there that could have used Andre Drummond more so. Even if you look at the Los Angeles Clippers, it's just like, what? I don't get the Philadelphia move for Andre Drummond.
Yeah, there are not 30 NBA centers that are better than Andre Drummond. I can tell you.
No, it's probably, that's what I'm saying. It's weird, but it just shows you, certain guys go through that once they have a bad season or get that reputation in the league, that whatever that reputation that may be. It's kind of, we saw that with Reggie Jackson, saw that with Derrick Rose, saw that with Carmelo Anthony. Now we're kind of seeing that with Andre Drummond. So it's just like, how it is. Reputation may not always be reality, but it's just kind of like, sometimes GMs putting a bad, or media putting a bad reputation on you can hurt guys' careers. So
facts.
Maybe that's what we're seeing with Andre Drummond right now.
I mean, and sometimes too, you just got to prove yourself again, and remind folks what you're capable of. I think again, it didn't end up turning out well in LA, but that doesn't mean that he's a bad player, and that doesn't mean that like he fell off. I just think if it's a new opportunity, for him as a player, I think anything can happen. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
But in terms of
Luke.
like just spacing and stuff, that was my initial thing. Like, all right,
Yeah.
how exactly are they going to be able to adjust? Now again, he's still talented, but as we both know, sometimes it's about fit as well,
Mhm.
right? But hopefully they figure it out because I really want Philly to do well. I know their
Dame
season
needs
didn't end the way they wanted to.
Dame needs to pick up the phone and call Joel. Like
And
it's
tell
like
him
what
what?
and
Come
tell him he
join me,
wants
or I'm gonna pull up.
no, he wants to pull up. He wants to pull up. Like he wants to go, and it's like and let's get to the losers. Let's get to the big top.
Damn.
Let's get to the losers right now because the Portland
Jeez.
Trailblazers. Dame said, "I'm looking around the league, and I don't see us being a contender or being one of those teams that are really have a chance of winning." Then they go out and they sign Ben McLemore. They sign, you know what I'm saying? They sign. You see, looking around all these free agents, and it's just like they're not getting nobody. You know what I'm saying? They not getting nobody. And you start looking at like, yo, DeMar DeRozan just got a sign intro. DeMar DeRozan would have been a perfect
Mm.
wing for the Portland Trailblazers. For what the Spurs got to get rid of him, you could have got the Blazers could have got him. They could have gave up a first round pick. And you could have had a small ball liner with Robert Covington at the 4, and then Nurkic at the 5, and DeMar at the 3, CJ at the 2, and Dame at the 1. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So it's just like the Portland Trailblazers, one of the biggest losers in free agency so far, and it's probably going to cost them Dame. Dame's probably going to. I expect Dame to leave. I don't know if it's going to be this year, next year. I don't know if it's going to be in this next 5 minutes. We may get a
Yeah,
report.
I say the way things been moving, it just might be.
So it's just kind of like that. I don't know, but another loser, and I'm gonna let you go off too. But another loser I had to talk about is the New York Knicks because it was a lot of Knicks fans, and we had Sean on here, and Sean. I hope you see this because Sean, you was tweeting talking about you didn't want DeMar DeRozan on your team for the New York Knicks, and
Oh
then
God.
they go out and they signed Evan Fournier. It's just kind of for the spot, basically the same amount of money they could have had DeMar DeRozan. Like, what do people be talking about? Because it's just kind of like Evan Fournier is a good player, solid player, but it's just like he doesn't. The New York Knicks don't have one player on their team that can really create their offense and create off the not create off create off the dribble, get their shot at will, go on runs of 5 to 8 points in a span of a minute and a half. Really say, here, take me home. Julius Randle was their best player doing that during the regular season. Then Derrick Rose, or older Derrick Rose, and who I'm glad who got his money. Shout out
Yeah, I
to
was
D
gonna say,
Rose.
yep.
Had to become he was their best player on their roster in the playoffs. Derrick Rose was their best player. Derrick Rose, I'm saying it again, like who has had injury history and is great. You know, Derrick Rose is a great basketball player, but like Derrick Rose being the best player on your playoff team, it's just kind of that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like you want Derrick Rose being your third option, your closer. It's just kind of like the New York Knicks. What are you doing? So losers. It's just like poverty franchises. That's what I call teams like the New York Knicks. They're a poverty franchise. They're a team that's just as long as they're getting tickets, long as their fans are coming to the games, long as they may be making the playoffs, they are content. They would be nothing more with this roster unless Dame pulls up, and even if Dame pulls up, poverty franchise, because that ain't gonna do nothing either. It's just like even if he pulls, they're not gonna do nothing either. So it's just kind of like they're content of probably, oh, we got Julius Randle, we're gonna re-up, we're gonna sign him, and we're gonna go to the first round for the next 3-4 years. Poverty. That's what they are. They're a poverty franchise.
All right, let me defend the city of New York real quick because I understand that now that Melo is a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, ultimately that means there's going to be a lot of Knicks fans that jump to this side of the bandwagon. So let me defend it real quick. At the end of the day, man, they did just make the playoffs. And we have gone through many years of making fun of Knicks fans. And even though it's been fun as hell to do, if there was ever a year I personally relaxed with the jokes, it's this year. I know right now free agency
not at that first round
best
series.
Well, of course. But I mean, when you think about how far they've came in terms like, all right, not too many people had them making the playoffs. They had a great regular season. They kind of, folded a little bit in the playoffs. But I mean,
don't be so.
Put it like this: the expectations weren't that high for them to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to move those expectations throughout the regular season.
They had a horrible NBA draft. They didn't even get a guard. They needed another guard. They didn't get another guard. It's just kind of like then you don't go after DeMar. They're not getting any stars. Like that's the problem. New York Knicks fans, you need a star. They've been telling, oh, maybe next year, 2022, 2023.
Oh, they know that.
Nick, it's just kind of like what. It's just like,
I mean, yeah.
What is? I don't know. I don't understand what's going on. Like maybe they hoping out Dame is gonna come or something's gonna happen like that. But it's just kind of like I have no idea what this. And put it like this: we talk about the Chicago Bulls being a maybe top 4, top 5 seed or whatever. Who you think I'm picking for the dropout of that? I think last year was a fluke.
Okay, I got of those four.
Who you think I'm picking to drop out of that top 4? Because it ain't Milwaukee. It ain't, it ain't them.
It ain't Brooklyn. It ain't Brooklyn.
You know what I'm saying? Like who you think the Hawks gonna be there? It's just
but someone else might be added into that.
Who?
Atlanta.
Of course, Atlanta. Of course, that's what I'm saying. Atlanta may add to that too. But I'm just saying it's just kind of like
Miami. Hell,
Miami. I'm looking on paper right now, and I know paper is different than reality. You got to see how these teams work together. I'm looking on paper right now. It's 7 teams better in the Eastern Conference, better than New York Knicks right now in my eyes on paper. So the Knicks may not even make the playoffs next year. So
good luck, man.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Knicks fans gonna want to smoke with you.
It's poverty franchise, man. It's just like they would never.
Man said it's a poverty franchise. Well, I don't know nothing about that because my team is flooded with Hall of Famers. I don't know nothing about that. How many Hall of Famers we got on the Lakers right now? Russ, Bron, AD, Dwight. I'm missing somebody. Oh,
Carmelo.
The man we got today, Carmelo Anthony. Oh, what a damn time! What a damn time! But yeah, man, I'm sorry, Knicks fans. I'm sorry. I know you got, I'm not going to say they're going through some rough times, but, they just made the playoffs. Things could have, gone a little better for them in free agency, 100%. But, they'll be all right.
Let's talk about another poverty franchise.
Oh, this man is running it up with the poverty franchises.
The New Oregon Pelicans as well. Like, like you.
Why are you saying that? Before I say it, why are you saying that?
Because they could have kept Lonzo Ball. Like you could have mended that relationship, even though we knew. I kept saying all season long that Lonzo's out with New Orleans, but it's just kind of like they got Devontae Grant, who's he's a solid player in this league, but it's just kind of Lonzo Ball is a better player than Devontae Grant, and it's just like you could have all the gymnastics and make it seem like you guys, the New Orleans Pelicans, were going to try to like make a better roster around Zion this season. It's just kind of like. No, they're not going to. Zion probably won't make the playoffs in the next 2-3 years, to be honest. Like, if we keep it on it. Hopefully, and if Brandon Ingram's watching this, Brandon Ingram, I want you going too. Because it's just kind of like, it's a poverty friend. They're just wasting. They wasted Brandon Ingram's time. That's why I'm glad Lonzo got the hell out of here. I was so happy. Like, I'm so happy Lonzo Ball. Even if the Chicago Bulls and this roster doesn't do anything and they don't make the playoffs, they do bad or what. I'm just glad he got the help out of New Orleans because it's just like certain cities and franchises in the NBA just don't know how to win and don't know how to really build a roster to really compete. And New Orleans is one of those. The Portland Trail Blazers, they can compete a solid roster, but they have no championship aspirations. And the New York Knicks are just all about money. As long as they got a playoff team, they making money and their fans going crazy. That's all they care about. They're not really trying to win. And the New Orleans Pelicans don't know how to build a great rock. And David Griffin, as hyped up as people used to be saying about him, it's just like he thought he was the godfather because he had LeBron James on his team. We're seeing the light on him right now. So
apply pressure, man. Apply pressure. I'm gonna tell you right now, one thing's for damn sure. We probably will never be able to do a live recording anywhere near Madison Square Garden or New Orleans because of you. Those two cities are kind of.
I'm in New York. I'm in New York. I'm just when I moved here, I gravitated towards the Brooklyn Nets instead of the New York Knicks.
That's what I want to say too.
For other reasons, though.
That's what I want to say too about Brooklyn. Shout out to them for getting Patty Mills.
Hooper.
That floor spacing is about to be crazy. I know they lost. They traded Landry, but even still, that floor spacing is about to be nuts.
It's about to be crazy. Hooper. I got a question for you.
What's up?
Then we're gonna get into the last segment. It's a lot of money going around in free agency right now. Some guys are getting their bag. Respect to them. But I also see some guys earning a bag where it's kind of like has me thinking about like all like the old school legends that probably be max players in today's game, like a Peja Stojakovic. Reggie Miller was an all-star, superstar back then, but he would be getting paid, max player in today's game. It's a few guys that was really what's his name, Stoudemire,
Mari,
Stoudemire, not Amari Stoudemire,
Damon,
Damian Stoudemire. It's just like we got some players that
hell,
will
Scottie
probably
Pippen,
Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen.
It's just kind of like, and I look at like Doug McDermott. I
Oh,
look at Duncan Robinson. Happy for Duncan. I look at Alex Caruso. I look at certain players where it's just kind of like they deserve their respect. They deserve the money that they're getting.
there's a butt coming.
But it's just kind of like it just shows you why some of these. No, I'm talking about the older generation is kind of like looking like, damn, like I wish like we would be playing in this time because it's just like there's so many better players in the past that would be max contract players or close to max contract players in today's game that are way better than some of these guys that are collecting these checks. Like I can't remember. I don't even. I love basketball, but I can't remember the last time Doug McDermott had a major impact on on a basketball game. You know what I'm saying? He just got 37 million. So it's just kind of like Alex Caruso, as great as he is, like defensively, hustle stat, GOAT to me, guy that does some nitty gritty. It's just kind of like I saw that coming, but it's just like he got a Matthew Dellavedova contract. Like when Matthew Dellavedova was playing well in the finals, then he got that contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. That's kind of how I look at Alex Caruso. Like he's gonna go to Chicago. It's just kind of like he's gonna be a solid player, but it's not like he's gonna, do. Do
well,
much.
yeah.
Like,
I think also too though it depends on like fit and just like if a team needs a certain player.
Yeah.
And no one else is available. I mean, now we just talking about supply and demand. It's just
but then I look at some players. It's just like the league is just weird to me because it's just like I look at some players like if you watch the games, it's just like who's a better player, Cameron Payne or Alex Caruso?
Especially right now, with the way Cameron Payne was.
Who's a better player right now?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I definitely wanted bro to get a wild bag.
It's just like it's like damn. I'm looking around like, damn, like, but that just shows like, talk about that perception of the league versus reality.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The marketability of certain players.
Go ahead, say your favorite phrase, man. Say your two-word phrase.
Media darlings. It's media darlings. Hey.
It's getting crazy out here, man. So I'm going to do the cap or no cap. Is that fine with you? I got
That's fine. Let's run it.
I think it's a pretty obvious what my cap or no cap question will be for this episode. Seeing what hat I'm wearing. So, with that being said, cap or no cap, the Los Angeles Lakers will win the finals in 2022.
Wow, I can't. What I tell you, I'm not crowning no champion in the summertime. They look good. They'll be
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let me rephrase it again.
You have to rephrase that. Yeah.
Cap or no cap, the Los Angeles Lakers will win the NBA Finals in 2022.
If the Los Angeles Lakers are healthy, come the playoffs in 2022. Man, the Brooklyn Nets are special, bro.
You want me to ask you for a third time? Because I'm hearing some deep sighs. I'm hearing some hesitation. I didn't ask you about the Brooklyn Nets. I didn't ask you about any other team. Are they winning?
I'm gonna say no cap. I think the Lakers.
Okay, thank you.
If they are healthy, I think if they are healthy come playoff time, I don't think. Man, only the Brooklyn Nets. I think if both teams are healthy, will have a chance of beating the Lakers.
So just confirmation, because you keep mentioning the Brooklyn Nets. Confirmation is that you're telling me that the Lakers, and I know obviously all this is built off health. I'm not saying God forbid, knock on wood, if
it's
Bron
too early
would get injured. Of course, obviously that changes everything. But off rip, on paper, right now, assuming everyone's healthy, you have them win the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I think the Lakers. If you look at the next season, Kawhi is going to be out majority of the year. I don't know if he's going to come back at all. Jamal Murray's going to be out majority of the year. The two teams that are really going to give them, a difficult time in the playoffs to have a roster to actually kind of match up with them are going to be stifled because they're missing, their best player in the Clippers or one of their best players in the Denver Nuggets. So you have to look at that situation. The Phoenix Suns, and that's it in the West if you look at it. Really, you look at those three. You look at the Suns. Suns got a chance to maybe they went to the finals this year or whatever. But you look at roster wise, you're gonna pick the Lakers over that roster. So it's just like no healthy Clippers team, no healthy Nuggets team. The Suns are probably the best team other than the Lakers. Who else?
I want to wait on Denver because even though Jamal is injured, I still want to wait on them a little bit because they do have the MVP, and I'm not saying I have Jokic is going to carry his team to beat the Lakers, but you still got a reigning MVP on your team, so I can't quote on you just yet. Especially with their system, I really do like the way they play. I don't think they're just like an on paper team. Fair enough. But I still play like this. I still want to give them the benefit of the doubt because of the fact that they have the MVP. But you already know. Needless to say, how I feel about the question that I asked you.
I know
how
you
cap on that statement.
I know how you feel. I know how you feel.
No
we don't crown championship champions in the offseason. That's all I'm saying. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, we all didn't learn a lesson about doing that. We all didn't learn.
Look at this season.
Look at this season. Look at the Miami Heat year. Look at the
Toronto Raptors.
Like you definitely don't cry, but it's fun. It's fun. Lakers 22 champs. Russ, I won't say he's getting Finals MVP, but he's gonna get a ring.
It's gonna,
Carmelo
what's gonna be interesting?
What a damn time!
You know what's gonna be interesting? Like I said, the Lakers got a lot of guys that can produce their own offense outside of LeBron James. With all the people that they got Russell Westbrook, they got Kendrick Nunn, they got Malik Monk. Then they got shooters in Wayne Ellington, Trevor Ariza that can space the floor and play defense as well. So it's just like that was my thing about, even though they didn't get DeMar DeRozan because I've been saying they need a shot creator, but it's just kind of like they got guys that can score besides having just LeBron James set them up. That's hard for LeBron James. He's gonna play a point guard position. So, but it's just like
you know the thing about this though. Do you think that there's going to be a lot of ball movement, or will it be a lot of it's your turn? I don't know. It's my turn.
No, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be your turn, my turn, because it's just like, to be honest, that pick and roll situation with Anthony Davis is the best situation that can happen for Russell Westbrook because Anthony Davis is a hybrid big that can pick and roll, can do the alley-oop, on a pick and roll, can also pick and pop as well. People were talking about, is Anthony Davis going to turn into a Chris Bosh? No, that's not about to happen. That's not what happened with LeBron James on the floor and making sure he can run the offense and getting the ball in the post and a little blocker. Russell Westbrook as well. So,
I think too at this point of LeBron's career, I think he's ready to, I won't say pass the torch, but it's almost like, all right, y'all handle this regular season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
y'all handle this.
Yeah.
When it's postseason, y'all know to feel me. Y'all know to find me. Y'all know that. Y'all know what I do.
And that needs to be done to keep extending his career as well. He doesn't need to be going. Russell Westbrook is one of the best regular season players in history. So having him on your team that's going to go out and play hard constantly, it's going to be phenomenal. Also, this is the first time in Russell Westbrook's career. You talked about pressure. It's the first time in Russell Westbrook's career where he's not either the first or second option on the team. He's going to be the third option on the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to take so much pressure off of Russell Westbrook. You got Anthony Davis, you got LeBron James, you got Russell Westbrook. Like the pressure, people don't understand. Like the Milwaukee Bucks won the finals, but let me tell you something. It was a lot of pressure that got lifted off of the Milwaukee Bucks once Kyrie Irving went down. You know what I'm saying? Like certain situations, it was a lot of pressure off the Phoenix Suns when Anthony Davis went there. They like, yo, shit, Anthony Davis out. Like, this our time. Let's go take this.
Smell blood. And shout out to them for taking advantage of it. Not to say necessarily his injury, but the opportunity.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what we talk about the Bucks and the Suns. I don't care. People can talk about. I don't like the conversation that's been going on with Giannis after winning the championships. The craziness, like you've been saying and other people have been saying or whatever. But
don't backtrack. Don't backtrack.
That's here nor there. But it's just kind of like, hey, they took advantage of that situation, and then it is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, look, we definitely gonna have another preview for this season. I think when we go down even more teams, but today it almost felt like today was a Laker holiday. Honestly, these past couple of days. No, for real, bro. I don't think it's how special it is to have Carmelo Anthony as a Laker. To have Russell Westbrook as a Laker.
All the Golden State Warrior fans that jumped on the bandwagon going back to LA now.
Welcome. Look, me personally, I don't mind people joining the bandwagon. I'm not really like y'all stay over there.
No,
you know what I'm saying? You wasn't no, because some people I really like that. It's like, yo, dog, you're not literally actually a part of the, what I'm saying, the actual roster. So if someone wants to be a fan of it, pull up. Come join the gang. There's still room to be a Laker fan. Because you better play this. You better be a Laker fan now. Because once they win the whole thing, you're gonna want to stay far away from me. Tell you that right now.
People have to block me if Russell Westbrook win a championship. That's all I'm gonna say.
Man.
That's all I'm gonna say. The slander throughout the years.
I got tweets.
I feel the same way about James Harden too. Like,
yeah,
but really Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. But that James thing, man, I'm telling you, the fact that Giannis got that chip, that's
that don't
hey,
really,
man.
No.
That is a knock on the door. That is come on. Come on.
I mean, I think it's the circumstances. James was hurt. James was hurt.
Right. That's why I said that's why I said
it ain't like Giannis beat the Nets and James Harden was healthy and Kevin Durant was healthy. That was a total different story. The boy was playing on a one leg hobbling, couldn't even get to the rim. That's why
I said all it is a knock at the door right now.
Yeah.
It's just hey man. But after this season, then we can have that dialogue. But right now it's just like, all right, the circumstances, as you mentioned, things happen. But if everybody fully healthy this year and y'all still don't get it done, hey bro, ain't no excuse this time.
Same with that
get
purple and gold.
Facts. It definitely ain't no excuse for the Lakers this time.
LeBron he got the Lakers in the ring, but still they need another one to a lot of people's eyes. Not necessarily me, but like to.
I mean, yeah, they definitely gotta get it done this year though. Like, I mean, I'm not one of those people that says that there's still things that LeBron needs to do in his career. Like LeBron James retired right now, he's fine. I know everyone's gonna make that whole 6 versus 4 comparison in terms of championships, but like, dog.
Let me tell you
he's
something.
All right.
Let me tell you something. We just talked about Russell. LeBron James gets 6.
We'll save that.
Cut it.
Save it, yeah.
Cut it
all
off.
Right, y'all.
Cut it off.
Yeah, we
cut it off.
We're gonna see you on the next one. Yeah.
Cut it off.
What's up, y'all? It's Theus McBee. Make sure you go follow No Pump Fakes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts.